Our first topic will be about the NCAA and what we think should happen to induce change, or if things are fine how they are and should be left alone. Roy, start us off.
College athletes should get paid because by playing their sport, athletes and teams have the opportunity to bring in thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars to the NCAA and to the college or university that that athlete or team represent. Secondly, my second reason is that these players are more likely to stay in school rather than quit the team or go pro if they made money, because that would help them aid the university because the sports team would bring in more revenue than they would before.
Yo, Roy, I have to disagree with you on that. I feel that college athletes should not get paid because it would distract students from their academics. It would take money away from the school. Also, there's too many college sports. Not all teams could get paid. It costs the school too much money. By paying college players is almost like they're already in the NFL, which is not a good mindset for college students. It will make them focus on football more than academics. College athletes should not be paid because the athletes who are really good get a free scholarship and are basically already getting a free education. Therefore, it would be really unfair if the athletes got paid because they don't have to pay for their own education because of their talents in the sport they play.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I also believe student athletes should not be paid because it would be too hard to figure out what sport should get a certain amount of money. The basketball team players earn more than the football team players by a couple $1,000s, then the football team would not be happy. College athletes should not be paid because it would not be fair to the students who are working for a degree who do not get paid. College athletes are students first, not athletes, which is why they should focus in on the classroom.
I mean, while it's important to note that these athletes are definitely being cheated, it's also just as important to highlight the fact they get stuff out of it too. They get an education for one thing, and to be honest, if you really want to get a good education from college, you'll probably get chances to actually exercise that desire better than you would. Football comes first, but if you don't try to actually get good grades in whatever courses you take, and granted they're not great courses, what's the point of dragging on about how you didn't get the education you deserve if you weren't actually trying to get a good education? But that aside, college athletes still can't get paid for their services. Granted, the scholarship is an offer and it's not a requirement to accept it, but still, that is taking away their ability to earn money if they came for a degree and not just for football. They would have declined and went straight out of high school for full-time jobs if that had been their intention. But instead they went to college on a scholarship and got a much worse education, and in addition, lessened their family's earning power.
Alright, so we have some mixed feelings towards this topic, which can be expected, but let's end here and let's move on to the second topic, which is causing the NFL to lose quite a bit of ratings. Let's begin discussing how we feel about concussions. John, I can tell you're eager to lead us off, so why don't you?
Oh yeah, you already know, guys. There's always health risks by playing the sport, but players need to know the chance of long-term injury is much higher in contact sports like football. Concussions are becoming a big problem for the NFL, the National Football League. More cases are rising about the deadly long-term effects of concussions on the brain. The cases are showing that the contact in sports like football is not meant for the human body. It's causing harm on the body that cannot be fixed in its long term. It's a chance the players are taking by playing some of the more contact sports. It should be obvious that hitting your head every day for multiple hours will not end with a positive effect. I feel that the sports organizations like the NFL should put even more effort into helping the concussion crisis. There's always more that can be done to benefit and make sure the players are safe.
I think that players need to understand that there are risks in every sport you play in. The NFL will not go out of business because people love football. The NHL doesn't have a problem with concussions, and they are a very contact sport, and players have concussions all the time. Same with rugby, which is arguably more violent than football. Why is it the NFL is the only problem with concussions? It's because they've lied about it. People can make so much money off this great game where it would be unfair to those people who are that talented to make the pros, but just ban football forever because of concussions. But people make those risks because, believe it or not, they are the same players that end up fine after playing football. It's not just kickers and punters.
Another thing you have to consider when you're talking about risks in playing contact sports is the long-term effect it has, not only on the players, but on the company they represent. In a franchise like the NFL, the only solution that they have is to just keep ramping it up higher and higher, but that's the problem. It's kind of overstepping its boundaries, where it used to be pure, now we shouldn't be keeping this information back from the viewers, from the players, from anybody. But either way, they've made the oversaturation of football, and now they're paying for it. But back to the issues presented by our host here, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, is a huge threat to a major corporation like the NFL, as well as the players. The NFL is still going to survive no matter what people say is going to happen once everything hits the fan and goes sideways. It's too ingrained in our culture for football to just die, and there will always be some guys who grew up in bad situations who need to provide for their families and see this as an easy way to get it.
To add on Alex's point, I think some of these football players have suffered long-term effects of playing football, and has proved that playing football has done a great damage to their health. Like we saw it in the film Concussion, Mike Webster suffered from CTE because he played football, and when he did interviews, he had trouble speaking, and he muttered all of his words. He suffered from that after he played football, and ball was the cause of him not being able to speak, as he had obviously suffered CTE from football. Troy Aikman suffered a concussion in a football game as he woke up in the hospital and couldn't remember what he had done. His agent Lee Steinberg kept repeating the simple questions to him because he was that severely concussed. He kept forgetting everything he did, according to the film called Legal Denial.
Let's change the topic here to something see both inside and outside of sports and can cause a lot of controversy over ref calls inside the world of sports. Let's move on onto race and racism in sports. Alex, can you please start us off?
Sure. So, like it or not, race plays a role in sports like a lot of things. Look at Jackie Robinson, for example. He just wanted to play football because that's what he was good at, and he doesn't retaliate because that's what they want him to do. If they've got nothing to really actually get angry at, if you give them something to be angry for, they're going to stay that way for longer than they would otherwise. People need to get over themselves and play the game if they've already being paid way too much to play anyway. So no matter what you think is the right course of action, don't use your sport as an outlet to voice your opinions. Just leave that off the field and just play. What do you think, Roy?
You know, I think race has a big part in sports because in past history, black quarterbacks used to be seen as too dumb and that people who couldn't play in their designated position in the 1980s. There also is a thing going around that white receivers in the NFL don't get the credit they deserve, what Chris Connor said on ESPN. And some people say that the only reason why Jeremy Lin was a big name when he had a really good 2012 season was because he was Asian. There's always going to be some type of race in sport which will always exist.
Absolutely. I mean, no matter what we do or how hard we try, it's never going to end. Really, we've already tried for long enough. It's just ignorance at this point. People refuse to either believe they're wrong, the other person's right, or actually have anything to stand on. Everybody's kind of just confused at this point. It's gotten so out of hand that people refuse to see progress and at the same time refuse to make progress. Again, sports are not the proper outlet to be voicing your opinion. They're supposed to be just made a better team win. John?
No, I can agree with that. But I feel the color of someone's skin should not limit them in life or like in sports. We've seen many occurrences of racism in sports. Can you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Many occurrences. It's just something that has always been around and never tends to end. Some people feel like others do not have the same rights as them just because their skin color is different, which I find crazy and ridiculous. I feel like if a person has a talent in a sport, they should be allowed to play, and it should not be taken away or limited just because of their skin color. We all have our own personal beliefs, and that's what matters, but it should not get involved in sports. Players are there to play, not discriminate against each other. Everyone has their own different beliefs and opinions on different people and politics.
Last thing I need to say about this topic is I feel whenever people make racial statements such as Kaepernick, I don't think he or anybody else really understands that we will always be divided and that we are never going to agree upon one thing. The world will always have different views. We are allowed to express our feelings on particular topics. I honestly feel that race is a good place in our society today. I would like it if every wide receiver we saw wasn't just a slot receiver. We could see them as a deep threat, but this is small. I feel like there are some signs of racism today, but nothing so significant that it should really become a problem in the sports world.
Okay, well that sums it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
My name is Roy Olsen.
And my name is Jonathan Tamina.
I'm probably going to edit this part out.